You are listening to the Lawyer Stories podcast with host Benny Gold. Lawyer Stories was founded in July 2017 on Instagram and is an expanding global network of lawyers and law students sharing their personal journeys to the noble profession of the practice of law. Join us on this podcast as we dig deeper into these stories and hear from lawyers and law students from around the world in all areas of the legal profession. Here at Lawyer Stories, we believe that every lawyer has a story. What's yours?
Welcome to the Lawyer Stories podcast with Benny Gold. Today we welcome in Heather Reese and Michael Pungitore, lawyers at a boutique law firm in Philly, practicing personal injury. How are you guys doing?
Good. Great.
How are you?
Good. Thank you. All right. Nice to see you both. How are things in Philly tonight?
It's crazy tonight because the Eagles are playing.
The Eagles are playing. It'll probably be Super Bowl time by the time this comes out. Just kidding, but that's right. I know the Eagles are playing, so thank you for sacrificing like Saquon and Jalen Hurts for us tonight here on the Lawyer Stories podcast. So first off, Heather, I just want to say thank you for all your support with Lawyer Stories. You came to New York City's Liberty and Networking for All back in June, which we hope to do another Manhattan June event or sometime around that time. And then you came out to Boston Connect, which was a big hit. Good time. I hope you had fun. You had like your nice green outfit on, which was super cool. And so do you know what it's called if you make it to Miami in January? You will have done the hat trick of Lawyer Stories events.
Oh, I'm excited. I mean, I definitely will because I love Miami.
All right. You're on the right track to make the hat trick and the triple play. All right. So anyway, I thought that was fun. Is that like a dad joke? I don't know.
I actually don't know what it meant, but I was laughing because I'm gonna laugh. But I mean,
it's a hockey term. Like it's 3 goals. You score 3 goals in a game, and then all right. Anyway, it would be cool if you can. Thank you for your support. Thank you for your support.
Always.
And Michael, nice to meet you. First time we've become acquainted. Thanks for appearing on our show, and welcome to the Lawyer Stories community. A big hearty welcome from us. So let's start with you, Michael. Like, we're born and raised. Where are you from?
South Philly, born and raised. I've lived in South Philly my entire life. Went to high school in South Jersey, and I did all my schooling in Philadelphia. I went to St. Joe's University on the main line and law school at Temple University.
Okay. So wait, did you go to the Jersey Shore or no?
I have gone to the Jersey Shore every summer of my life.
Do you like rent a house there, or what do you?
So when I was growing up, my family owned a house in Margate, and then from like 20 years old till the summer before I had kids, which was 5 years ago, I got tour houses with my friends in Margate, and we were regulars in Atlantic City and all the bars in Margate.
That's awesome. That sounds fun. I'll see you out there one summer. Save me a spot. Okay, so Heather, so where are you from Philly too?
I'm from like the Pennsylvania, Delaware area. I grew up in Delaware and PA, and my parents are divorced, so I kind of went to both states.
Nice.
But yeah, mostly PA, mainline, Wynwood.
And you went to Delaware, right, for school?
I went to University of Delaware and then went to Delaware Law, yeah.
All right, so both of you tell me, and you obviously at different times, like when did you know you wanted to be lawyers? Like when was your, like, I'm going to be a lawyer? Did you have a moment, or was it just like something you always wanted to do? Or was it just like, okay, I don't want to like graduate college yet, so I'm going to go to law school? Like, what was it?
Well, for me, my best friend's dad is a lawyer, and I didn't want to go to high school a whole bunch, so I would go with him to go see arbitrations when he would do arbitrations. So I saw him do them, and honestly, like the first time I saw him do an arbitration, I said to myself, like the way he was able to communicate a fact pattern in such a profound way to move people, I was like, no, this is what I want to do. Like the way that the client was so grateful, just the entire situation kind of entranced me and really wanted me to become a part of it. And I think from then, the first time I saw him do it, I said, this is what I want to do. And he was like, don't become a lawyer. And I was like, no, I'm going to become one. This is
Yeah.
definitely it for me. So that's why I did it.
So you would leave school to go to these things?
Yeah, no, because he was my guardian at the time. So I
I
was
get. I mean, I get. Look, it's still educational, right? I mean,
It was.
that's all
That's
good.
how we told the school. I said, it's not like I'm gonna go hang out with my friends on the shore. Like I'm going to go see an arbitration in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
Like it was really cool.
Yeah. No, that's amazing. How about you, Michael?
So I did not know from high school that I wanted to be a lawyer. I graduated high school with no idea what I wanted to do.
Yep.
I majored in accounting and finance in college because that's what my roommate picked. And I was like, yeah, that sounds good. I have no idea what I want to do with my life, but I'll wear a suit to work every day.
Yeah. Why not?
And then I got a job out of college and I was working as a controller for a franchise of gyms in
Right.
the, and I was like, yeah, I like working in a gym. It'll be, like a laid back environment. I like going to the gym. It's an easy thing. And I hated it, dude. Like I was staring at a computer screen and it would be
Right.
like,
Right. Right.
get in,
You like walking around the gym, but you were like in the back on the computer, right?
dude, like literally the worst way to spend 8 hours possible. Like it'd be 8:30. I got into work at 8 and I was like, I can't wait till lunch. Like I got to get out of here.
Oh, that's a terrible feeling. How long did you do that for?
Less than a year. Like I started studying for the LSAT. I got that job July after I graduated college. I started studying for the LSATs in like September. I was,
Yeah, you were done.
I knew immediately that I didn't want to do that. Um, I have two uncles that did federal prison time, so I always thought I wanted to do criminal law. And
Say that again.
I have two uncles that did federal prison
Oh,
time.
okay. All right, the story's getting interesting here. All
Yeah,
right.
It gets pretty interesting. It gets
yeah,
juicy.
um, so I thought I would go into criminal law just because it was something that I had always known about. And I did an internship one semester at the DA's office. I was like, yeah, no, never again.
Right.
Like, none of this. I by chance got a job at like a boutique PI firm my first year of law school, and I was hooked. I was like, this is what I want to do every single day is I want to argue no matter what side I'm on. I just want to go into court and argue this.
There you go. So that's interesting because you were behind the desk as the controller of a gym, but so obviously you're not behind the desk all the time anymore, right? You're like in court and stuff.
Yeah, there's days I don't touch my desk till like 3 in the afternoon because I've been in court all morning.
Wow. Okay. So that's good for you then.
Yeah, it's good for like ADD, I'm kind of always talking.
I get it. I get it. So give us some advice, either of you, both of you, for someone in law school like trying to figure out what type of law to pursue. And Michael, I know
Try everything.
go ahead.
I would say try everything. Like I interned at the DA's in law school and I really fell in love with it. But working in public service is, a luxury if you, have endless amounts of money, I guess, or if you're don't have a bunch of student debt. So
Yeah.
I mean, I would say go try every type of law, really.
Yeah.
It's
Yep.
because once you pick it, you are kind of married to it. Like I know people always say like you can change it and you can go into something different, but I just think once you've invested so much time into learning something, because there's always something new you're going to learn in this field, that you're going to kind of want to stick with it. So I would say,
Yeah.
try everything,
Yeah.
because especially in law school, because that's really the time that you have the most ability to, dip your toe into whatever you want to.
Yeah, it makes sense. Yeah, I mean you invest a lot of time, you want to stick with it and figure out what you like the best. What about mentors? Did either of you have a mentor?
I did. My
What?
best friend's dad. So the guy who was my guardian.
Okay.
So honestly, it was amazing. He's the reason I got, how I met Michael.
Yep.
And he's the reason I got, my first job out of law school. He's the reason I got my internships. I talk about this all the time, but I'm incredibly blessed in the way that, the people that my parents made sure that I associated with had really good connections
Hmm.
and were really able to network me pretty well. So I would say mentorship is huge. I talk about this a lot too. It's not as apparent and available in the Latino community. So I think it's really important for people to make sure that you're willing to mentor other people, make sure that you're willing to help your own community, because it's just not always there. I'm really lucky. I was around the right people. They talked about me when I wasn't in the room, said nice things.
Yep.
And I was also taught how important networking is, which I think is, kind of a gatekept thing if you don't really know about it, right? A lot of the times people said to me, this is your job. And if I wanted a different job, there's times where I followed somebody onto an elevator to, pitch something to them and say, I really want to work in writing. I really want to do, appellate stuff. Can I do that? And, that kind of confidence comes with really good, mentoring, people telling you to like ask for what you want and push for what you want. So,
Right. Yeah, no, it's definitely important to have somebody who has your back. Anything for you, Michael, or
Yeah, I had a guy that was my contracts professor my first year of law school, and he was just an awesome dude. Like he took an interest in me from my first day. He was like I think he was either my second or third class, my 1L year. And he noticed that I was struggling with a concept that he was teaching early. And I asked him 3 questions after class one day, and he just kind of took me under his wing. And whenever I had a problem throughout my 3 years at law school, like I would go to him. I was his research assistant my first summer after law
wow,
school. And it was really nice of him to see potential in me and to help push me in a direction that helped me get to where I wanted to be. And contracts is nothing what I deal with now. So his subject matter wasn't even something that I was really into. We just had a genuine human connection. He was
that's
an
awesome.
influential guy in my life.
What school were you at?
Temple.
Temple. Wow. Okay, that's awesome. Have you heard from him since, or do you ever email
Uh,
him or anything? Or
yeah, we talk every now and then. I was actually bartending through law school, and he came into
nice.
the bar a couple times on the weekend. And that was cool to me that he kind of supported me
That's cool. Yeah,
on my journey in becoming a lawyer. Um, yeah.
that's awesome. How did you guys meet each other?
us,
Yeah.
we met each other through my dad. So
Yep.
or through my best friend's dad. I call him my dad a lot of the time. Because he's basically my dad. He was working with him. They were at a unit at a firm that we were in. And my dad came up to me like my first day of work, because it was the first job I got out of law school. And he said, "Hey, there's this South Philly Italian that you need to meet. He's going places." And I said, "Okay." And that's how I met him.
That's awesome. And friends ever since.
Yeah, yeah, we've been friends and colleagues ever since.
So how did you end up at the same place, firm or whatever?
The
Her
fir-
dad was wrong about me going places.
Oh, so okay, your dad. Okay, so
No, we've worked, he worked somewhere else in between, but I would say, yeah, I mean, we met at a firm and then,
you met her
we
from
stayed
okay.
in contact after. And, then when he came to the firm that we're at now, it just kind of made sense. We just, but we were friends even when he wasn't at a firm we were together at.
Yeah, that's awesome. So like, what kind of challenges did either of you have, or like motivations at law school, that sort of happened to you, that kind of occurred? Anything like that motivated you or challenged you, or anything that like stands out from your experience being a law student?
I mean, just being a law student, like being a law student
Yeah,
and having to navigate like your personal finances, because like you're in law school in your mid-20s, most people.
yeah.
So in your mid-20s, most of your friends that haven't gone to grad school or some type of professional schooling are starting their career, and they're
Yeah,
starting and like
yep,
their lives are taking off, and
right.
uh,
And we're 10 years
they'll
behind.
spin
That's always,
you
yeah, I know. I always feel 10 years behind, to be honest. So I
100%.
get it. I get it. So Heather, like you really like support a lot of other people like on social media, and like you're kind of just like you're by their side, you're networking, you're a cheerleader at the same time to them. You're really supportive of people and lawyer stories, and lawyer stories connect and everything like people are doing. Like, what inspires you to like be such like a good supporter of like brands and networking, and like what's the best part about that?
Yeah, I mean, I would say for me, like I've always kind of, I was raised very much to think that like the only competition you ever have is the version you were the day before.
I like that.
And I think that that's like somewhat foreign in this field a lot of the time. And I've said to myself that the way that I'm going to present myself in this community and the way that I'm going to make genuine connections is find people that kind of align with me and that I feel the same type of way. And I've found some amazing, amazing people. And for me to promote the next person or to talk, positive about somebody or to, like I wear people's merch all the time, that like I wear other lawyers' merch literally all the time. I have a sweatshirt of his.
That's
He's
awesome.
but I do. I just for me, it's been like when one of us wins, we all win. And I've kind
Right.
of really had that mentality. So for me, promoting people, things that I'm passionate about, I do a lot of the stuff like with the Latino owned businesses, and then with other female lawyers, and even male lawyers, like, it's just, I just think I want to put as much positivity into the world as I can.
Yeah.
And it takes 2 seconds to reshare something. It
Right.
takes 5 minutes to film a video. And for me, those are time that I'm willing to sacrifice to help somebody else because, you know, I just think why not, right? Like,
Yeah.
why not help one another?
Right. No, that's
There's
so
enough to feed
important.
us all.
What's that?
There's enough to feed us all. You know what
Right.
I
So
mean?
like abundance is like what we're talking about. So like, I think the more you can just see everybody as kind of a colleague rather than competition, I think that's a good thing. And it doesn't cost any money to share something on social media or to like, give someone a shout out or to like, make them feel good about what they're doing. So I respect that a lot. I think that that's like really cool, like a very cool way to be and to acknowledge it. I mean, some people don't even acknowledge what other people are working so hard at. So I think that's awesome. So just to kind of shift gear here, like Michael, we talked about you being like not at your desk all the time, like you like that, you're kind of like in court and stuff. Like what's your favorite part of like prepping for a trial or for a motion or something like that? Like what's your process like?
I am a really competitive person. So getting ready for a trial or an ADR, an arbitration, a deposition, a motion hearing, like whatever it is, I pride myself on figuring out how the other side of whatever side I'm arguing is on,
Yep.
how I would argue their side. So I practiced in between my 2 stints as a plaintiff's attorney. So when Heather and I started working together, it was at a plaintiff's firm. I left to go practice insurance defense and actually work for insurance companies.
Okay.
Now I practice again as a plaintiff's attorney. So I've argued both sides of the
Right,
coin.
right. That's important.
And what I really enjoy is figuring out what the other person is going to argue and what the way that they present their cases and how I would beat that. And it's a cool feeling when you've already argued against yourself and then you go into court and hear the person that you're going against literally argue what you put into your head and you already have the counter argument presented for them. So that to me is the most fun and most challenging part of what we do is you kind of have to put both hats on and figure out a way to present your information in the most persuasive way.
Yeah, that's a great explanation. Really clear. So did you ever, what was it like for you, like getting in front of the judge for the first time or, doing that sort of thing? Are you just really confident guy or like,
He's so confident.
No,
He's
man.
gonna downplay it.
I was terrified. So the firm that we first worked at together is a volume plaintiff's firm.
Yep.
Does a ton of TV advertising in Philly.
I love them.
And they believed in trial by fire. So when I interviewed with them, it was October of 2018. And I pushed and pushed and pushed. I was like, I want to do jury trials. I want to be in front of a jury. I want to argue cases. I want to try cases. And they're like, all right, dude, like you're going to try cases. February comes. I am moving into a new house that my now wife at the time and I were building. She was 9 months pregnant and they handed me a file on a Thursday. They were like, you're picking this jury tomorrow. Like, cool. Don't know a thing about this case.
You look cool. You look cool.
Go well. And man, I was terrified. I had no idea what I was doing. I took home by accident, because you're not supposed to do it. I took home the jury slips, like of the jurors, and I had my 9 month pregnant girlfriend at the time going through the slips, like, what does this guy do for work? So I could tailor.
Where is he on Facebook? Let me see where he is on Facebook. Yeah.
Literally, like, how can I make my story more relatable to this one person on my jury?
So wait, you took home the slip? I mean, I don't really know much about that. So did you bring them back, or like just like throw them in a dumpster? Like
I
what?
was petrified. I was like, they're gonna throw me in jail. You're not supposed to do this. I shredded them and threw them in my neighbor's garbage.
Your neighbor did it. That's
Yeah,
funny.
exactly. He found those. But yeah, man, and since that I was hooked. I was like, I happened to win that case. It was like
Yeah.
it was a state minimum policy. They had offered like $1,000 before trial. I won like 30 or $50,000, and
Awesome.
the adjuster was like, I mean, why are we paying on this case? It's ridiculous.
Wow.
Like I
What
walked
was
back
it? Do
in.
you know what it was? Like what it was about that particular case that kind of got you all that
There
money?
was an argument at the red light, like after the accident happened, that the defendant denied happened. And my client was like, no, she like got out and screamed at the guy that was on the other side. And he was just like, you ran the red light. And I cross-examined the defendant about that. I was like, there was an argument at the scene, right? She was like, yeah, that guy was wrong. And at her deposition, she denied that there was an argument. So like we caught her in a lie on the stand. And
Wow. Okay.
in my experience, jurors don't like liars.
Yeah. Well, I would hope not. So, uh, all right. That's awesome. Good for you. So, Heather, switching gears again a little bit. Um, so I perused some of like the LinkedIn and websites, and like what does it mean to you to be part of the Hispanic National Bar Association and the Hispanic Bar Association of Pennsylvania? If you are still part of them, I don't know. It could be an outdated source list.
Honestly, I don't even know. I probably am still part of them because I'm sure that I pay for them. But
Or in general, I mean, you have like a lot of spirit, right?
yeah,
You
no.
got a
So
lot of spirit around things. So
I do a lot of stuff with the Latino community. I have found it to be a lot of the stuff I do is outside of law, right? So
okay.
I, unlike Michael, I'm not a diehard trial attorney. I'm more of like your everyday attorney who is an attorney, but also does so much stuff other than being an attorney. And I get a lot of cases that way, from meeting people in other networks and, meeting people in different fields. And I have found that to me has been the most like satisfying and lucrative because those are the clients who came on to me because they trust me,
Right.
that have seen me in other formats of my life. And they're like, no. Before we even knew this girl was a lawyer, we knew we liked her. We knew that, she represents us, that she's one of us. So, I mean, that's kind of my thing. Like
Yeah.
I can't top that. Like he's a trial attorney. He
Yeah.
loves,
No,
that's why I give him arbs the day before. I'm like, you're fine. You can handle this arbitration at 4 p.m. You're ready the next day.
what a guy, and he
Loves
takes it.
it.
He's like, what a guy.
No, he really is. He really, I
I
always
know he takes it. That's amazing.
he
Like,
does. No, and
you
he
gotta
does.
do
He
it.
really will. I'll be like, there's a depth. There's just like no way I can do it today. And he's like, are you going to tell me about the case? I'm like, I'll give you the cliff notes, but you got it. Like, I know. And every time I'll read his depth notes back and I'll read the transcript. And it's like, you would have thought this man knew everything about this case because the way that he does it is it's the way he just acted.
I
Like,
mean, do you think it's like possible for lawyers to get too comfortable though? Like, I feel like older lawyers will like go into court and like not even know what a case is about. I mean, I don't know. I feel like, or maybe they know what the case is about, but they haven't like, researched maybe like the most recent like precedent or ruling, and like they just sort of like, you know, I don't know. Is
I
it
think if
possible?
you're charismatic,
Yeah.
you can look the part, that's half of the battle for me, I think. And I always tell him that, and he always tells me I'm wrong. I'm like, the way you look and the way you present yourself means so much to people.
Yeah.
And I think it means a lot to a jury. I think it means a lot to a panel of arbitrators, and I think it means a lot to clients. So for me, like, even if you don't know each and everything, I'm not saying you should know the stuff about your cases. But if you can sound compelling and sound convincing and come in with the same like energy in each and every case, I mean, you're gonna do well at what you're doing. And I think that's the thing. Like, we're both really good at different things, right? You know, he's great at being a trial attorney. I mean, if I got a file the day before, I would vomit.
Yeah, yeah.
Like,
Okay.
actually vomit. I would literally never be able to do it. I would call Michael and be like, can you handle this? And
Oh, all right.
but other things, you know what I mean? Like, I'm really good at settling cases. I'm not saying he isn't, but I'm really good at talking to adjusters. I'm really good at communicating. I know how to communicate in certain ways. I know how to read people pretty well. And that's helped me in kind of being able to do what I do best.
Yep.
I hear her on the phone with people and she's like, all right, bye. I'll talk to you. I'm like, what? Do you know her from like high school? She's like, no, it's the first time I've ever talked to her. I was like, why are you talking to her? Like, she's your best
I
friend.
give them all nicknames. I totally do.
She's like, bye, Camille. I'm like, what? You said her name like you are.
But it gets me the extra money. It gets
Yeah.
me the extra money. So it works. You know
Yeah,
what I
you're
mean?
like by the
Like,
end of your conversations, you're like following them on Instagram.
yeah, no, and it works so well with adjusters. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I am everyone's best friend because when I need an additional $5,000 on that case, the girl or the guy that I just gave that nickname to, they remember that, right?
Yeah.
And they're like, oh yeah, we found the money. And I'm like,
Oh, okay.
thanks, you just made my weekend. I mean,
That's awesome. All right.
I'm screaming at
he's
people.
screaming.
They're
He's the opposite. He's like, I'll
veins
see
in
you
my
in
neck
court.
around here.
Literally, veins popping. I'll see you in court. I don't care. We're putting it in trial. And I'm like,
Wow. All right.
we're really gonna go to trial. And he's like, I don't even care anymore. And he's like, this is a timed demand. If I don't get this by tomorrow, it's off the table. I think I've given maybe 2 time demands in my life.
Wow. Okay. All right. So
Like that,
different
like-
styles. We could see the different styles of lawyering. It's
Very
probably
much.
he's got, and your partners there have 2 different weapons in their arsenal. Like what they need. They're like, hey, we need you to do this. We need you to smooth talk this girl and get her on your Instagram. We need you to kick this guy's ass in court. And he's got like a couple different weapons. All right, we'll call them weapons. So what is like when you're at the office? Like, what is your day to day like? Like, what are you doing at the office if you're there, Heather? I know you're at like a lot of networking events and what.
Stop! I'm always in the office. Don't let them hear that. I'm always in the office.
So, yeah. You and Michael? What are you guys doing at the office? Hanging out at the water cooler? Like what? Like,
We shared a paralegal for
okay.
8 months.
8 months.
It felt like 8 years.
Yeah.
Why? What happened?
We're just different. We're very different. Like, he is like type A. Like, he is like, everything is color coded and organized. And like, I'm just a fly by the seat of my pants.
That's
kind of
because
gal.
Heather's taking the paralegal to all of her events that she's going to.
No,
Literally.
a different one.
Literally.
Oh, okay. All right.
Not Lauren. Shout out to Lauren. I love her.
All right.
But no, not Lauren. I do take her to all my events because I love her and she was my personal assistant too. But no, I think it's just people trying to work with the both of us. We're very different. Like I said, I'm very chill. Like, I'm very like, I don't really think much is worth getting like hot over. Like, you're never gonna really see me get hot. Like, the veins are not popping
Yep.
from my body.
What are you
and I'm
thinking
like,
about Michael over there?
No, he is always
I got a fan next to my desk. I
That's
love it.
awesome. All right. That's good, man. That's the advocate we want
he's zealous.
in those ways. Like, when it has to go to trial, you want to be like that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
So-
think that was the biggest thing though. So we shared a paralegal. She kind of had to navigate 2 totally very different people. That was super challenging, I think, for her, which is why, she didn't stay.
Oh boy.
But
Why did you say it felt like 8 years, Michael?
I can't imagine the challenge that she faced getting 2 different directives from the people that she was supposed to be supporting. So it's really an unfair position to have put her in because I am unfairly 100 miles an hour all the time.
Okay.
And Heather, this is why we make a very good duo. And then she's a good friend of mine. She is very centered and she's like, dude, you just got to chill out. Like,
Yeah.
not that big of a deal. And I'm stressed.
Yeah.
So
Like
where
snapping pencils in the office.
No,
literally,
literally throwing pencils.
literally first day at this firm, like something wasn't where it needed to be, and she walked in my office. She was like, "Yeah, did you throw a stapler at the wall?" Somebody said it already. I was like, it was the tape thing, but yes, I did throw it at the wall.
Wow. What were you missing?
I don't think, honestly, it was not that big of a deal. I definitely was overreacting.
Okay.
So that person was
It's
in a
Italian blood.
she was in an unfair position because I am like, I asked you to do this at 12:15. It's 12:30. Why hasn't it even started? And Heather's like, dude, if you get this back to me like
In a week.
next
We're
week,
fine.
we're good. And
Yeah.
that's definitely the better way to be
Yeah.
because I stress myself out unnecessarily
Yeah.
over a lot of things.
Okay. All right. No, that's good. I see a yin and a yang, I guess. Whatever that means. I just know it's like opposite. So Michael, tell us what the most important piece of being a personal injury attorney is.
The personal aspect of it.
Yep.
And that was the thing that I really tried to hammer with insurance adjusters when I worked as a defense attorney was you're not evaluating somebody on paper. Like I would get adjusters that were like, yeah, this guy went to the chiropractor for like 6 months. There's no missed time from work. And I don't see that he had any surgery. And I'm like, yeah, dude, he's got a 2-year-old and a non-working wife at home. Like, what's he supposed to do? Dude, like, do you want him to have defaulted on his mortgage, lost his house, his marriage falling apart? At that point, you'll believe that he was really hurt? Like everybody's life circumstances have to go into how you evaluate their case. If somebody goes to work and they're in pain every day, it doesn't diminish the fact that they were injured. It's like, no, dude, they have to go to work.
Right.
The
Right.
mortgage comes due, you don't get to be like, hey man, I'm sorry, Bank of America, I can't pay my mortgage.
Right.
Your rent's due. You can't be like, hey, Mr. Landlord, I know that I owe you $1,500 this month for my rent, but some guy rear-ended me and herniated my disc in my lower back, and it's really hard for me to go to work. So can you just let me live in your house for free?
Right. Right.
And I think that gets lost in today's world where everybody thinks that, you get into an accident and you're just like, cool, I'm entitled to $1 billion. And insurance companies are like, we're not paying anybody because nobody's really hurt and everybody's faking. Like,
Right. Terrible.
every day.
Terrible. Trying to minimize somebody's life circumstance and trying to make them seem like they're not worth a certain amount of money, and it's just I don't know. Because I have friends and like whatever who do like the defense, but it's got to be difficult to sometimes make those arguments. You're in a much more like righteous position to fight for your client and be a little more creative too, I guess. Because I don't think is it more statutory or like case law that you're looking at, or is it just making an argument based on whatever's like that particular circumstance is?
I hate to totally lawyer you, but it does go case by case.
Yeah.
Like, there are certain cases where things turn on a legal precedent or
Right.
a legal fact that you need to get over. And then
Sure.
there's cases that turn on like a case I tried last year. I think they offered me $2,500 before trial.
Yep.
We got a verdict back that was over $200,000.
Yeah.
I don't know how it was reported back to the insurance company. My client was an active duty military person who came to court every day in his military gear.
Right.
The defendant was like a non-primarily English speaking person that was driving drunk and rear-ended him when he was in the car with his 2 kids.
Yep.
I don't mean to say that his treatment didn't matter, but when you go in front of 12 people that are taking time out of their day to sit on a jury and listen to that case, like, this is a guy that's fighting for our country, and he did absolutely nothing wrong against a drunk driver.
Right. Right.
I mean, $2,500, like, you just looked at this on paper and didn't take into account that this is a real person on the other side.
So what were the injuries with that?
He had a herniated disc in his lower back. I think he had 1 injection.
Yeah.
He testified that he couldn't stop what he was doing because he had 5 kids.
Right. right.
Wife didn't work because she was taking care of their kids.
Yeah,
So what's that guy supposed to do? Not go to work and not earn whatever
right.
through the pain?
Yeah, no, it sounds like that was a good case, good outcome for your client.
Yeah.
Very good outcome. So what's the best part about working together?
I mean, I think being able to call him to have him do stuff last minute.
Huh.
No, I
Take
would say
advantage of
honestly,
this poor guy.
he's fine. He loves
He's
it.
fine and he loves
He
it.
loves it. It's his thing. It's his juice. I think, honestly, what it is that like, so it's nice being able to go to somebody who you know outside of work and like who you have a personal relationship with for a lot of the stuff that like is, nuances that happen in like a law firm or just like, personnel or anything like that. Cause like it's hard to go to other coworkers, right? Because they may not necessarily know how your personality is, right? Like I'm pretty outgoing, I'm pretty blunt, to say the least, and I'm kind of reactive. And I think it's nice to be able to go to somebody who already knows how I'm going to react, who's like, wait, hold on. Um, as opposed to like going to like, just a normal coworker, right?
Yeah, yeah, totally. Michael, are there any positives of working with
There's
Heather?
tons of positives. Tell them all the positives.
No, it really is good to have some, like, I consider Heather one of my best friends, and
Yeah.
it's really nice to have somebody that you can go to in the middle of the day when you're just having a shitty day and you're like, hey man, I'm just like, I don't have it today. Like,
Yeah.
am I wrong? Am I thinking about this wrong? And I just bounce stuff off her. And
Hopefully not a stapler.
No, no, he's never thrown anything at me, thank God.
I'm just kidding. Well, you're talking about throwing like tape rolls and shit. So,
No.
okay, no, but I get it. Yeah, you need like that support in the office, in the work environment. Everybody needs that. I mean, that's tremendous if you have it. Some people don't, but that's really good to have that. Somebody's on like the same page and that sort of
And
thing.
then on the good days, like, like there's little stuff that like she'll walk by my office and like just
Actually, he will throw stuff
"Yo,
at
you
me.
suck." And like
Yeah.
you laugh.
Or
Like,
he
you get
hides behind things and he'll hide it and scare me. And then everyone at the firm will hear me scream bloody murder. And it's because my brother is like pranking me. Like he'll be hiding around the corner. So now I have to have my phone on and I put it around the corner so I can see if he's there. Cause it will like, and no one says anything to him. It's just like, oh, Michael, pranking Heather. He put a note on my.
Heather, what kind of a phone is that, by the way?
Oh, it is a iPhone. Oh, this
Oh,
case?
no, oh, it just looked kind of big. I just didn't.
Oh yeah, no, just an iPhone 15.
Nice, nice. Okay, so tell us the kind of client, like what clients are coming to you for help? Like, are they obviously like injured people and like people from
They're injured.
they're injured? Like, where? I mean, are they? Is it? Geez, Heather. Like, is it? I don't know. What kind of injuries mostly? Like car accidents or like what do you see mostly?
I handle mostly car accidents. I try my best to only handle car accidents. If it's a slip and fall, I try to give it to somebody else. I would say I handle mostly car accidents. I do handle slip and falls. And the clients are mostly, most I would say our injuries are back, neck, leg, the usual. But wouldn't you say car accidents mostly? I mean, you handle nuanced stuff, but I don't really handle nuanced stuff.
Okay, all
My
right.
husband handles a lot of car accidents. We have slip and falls, obviously, premises liability stuff, product
Dog
defects.
bites. We have dog bites. I handle dog bite cases.
Nice.
Handled medical malpractice cases,
Wow.
back injuries, neck injuries, knee injuries, but I've also handled emotional injuries, loss of work,
Okay.
everything personal injury.
Okay. So you take referrals, obviously. Have you gotten any cases from social media at all yet, or no?
Did one the other day. I get them from like a lot of the times I get my stuff from like the other stuff I do outside of work, like I had said. So like I do a lot of stuff with the
Okay.
Latino community. I do modeling. One of my, I
Yep.
met people through that. But you got one from TikTok, so tell them.
I got a case from TikTok the other day. I actually got a call today from somebody, and a lot of the stuff that I get on
Great.
my socials is usually not personal injury related. And I and I say this to Heather all the time, like I pride myself on the fact that when somebody calls me with something that is not what I do, I'm not trying to learn a whole new.
No.
I send them
Yeah.
right to somebody I know that does what they do. I had somebody call me today, they got sued because they remortgaged their house and their second lender didn't pay back the first lender. So the first lender came after them. I was like, that is well beyond what I know how to do. Let me make a couple calls for you. And I sent them to the person that
That's awesome.
to handle their case.
That's awesome. I got to find you on TikTok and
He
Instagram.
needs to get more on socials. I
I-
tell him this all the time. He
Yeah.
won't, he hates social media. That's
Well,
why
he hates it. You got to be
He-
on there. So
I know.
speaking
I
of,
tell him he
well,
needs
you do it for the both of you guys probably. So
Right.
no, I keep trying to make
Yin
him
and
do it
yang.
more and more.
so Heather, give us some do's and don'ts for social media, like Instagram, like do's and don'ts.
Okay, I would say do be authentic.
Okay.
I would say don't be fake. I would say the biggest people can tell fakeness. Like I think a lot of people like to front and think that we can't tell or that if everything looks super pretty, but the big stuff I focus on and my big thing is like I'm going to be authentic in all the stuff that I do. There's videos of me crying on the internet. There's
Yep.
videos of me sweating, working out. You know what I mean? Like there's I try to put all of the good and the bad and the ugly on my social media because for me, the biggest do is being authentic. I never want somebody to say, you're nothing like the person I saw on the internet. And
Right.
I would say, just don't be a bully. Like no one likes a
Yeah.
bully.
No shit. Yeah.
Like that would be my biggest thing. Be
Yeah.
nice, be kind.
Be
Because
kind. Yeah. Fuck yeah.
everyone is experiencing life for the first time.
Yep.
So give everybody grace.
You got a lot of good Heather quotes. I like it.
Thank you.
So speaking of like communities and stuff, like what does community mean to you, both of you? Michael, you don't have to answer if you don't want to, but you can. What does community mean to you?
I mean, I grew up in a big Italian family.
Yeah.
Like, I live
South
right
Side
now
Italian.
a tenth of a mile away from the house that I grew up in. I still eat dinner Sunday at my aunt's house, who's my godmother.
It's amazing.
I mean, family and community is a big part of how I was raised and how I grew up. My family is extremely close. I have 15 friends that I have known from when I was 7 years old.
Yeah, it's nice.
I still talk to every one of them weekly.
Wow.
We do a lot together. So, and the personal injury community, the legal community in Philadelphia is really similar to that, and that like it's big. There's a lot of lawyers, but it's really small. Like everybody talks, everybody knows each other, and for the most part, everybody is really supportive. And I think that is a big reason why Heather and I clicked
Yeah.
right away, because we kind of share that similar belief. Other dad that she's referred to throughout this was a good friend of mine at the firm that we first worked at together.
Okay.
And from knowing him, he is that way. Like he takes care of his people. He's got friends that he's had his entire life. I think that's why she and I felt just like a general closeness with each other and like comfort with each other from the first day that we met, because we
Yeah.
that common principle.
Yeah, I'd say community is everything. I would say for me, like, I think you are nothing if you aren't a person who people can rely on and feel safe with. And I think that's the big thing that community does, is that it gives people who need something or are looking for closeness or are looking for a connection, the ability to be able to get that. And so for me, I think community is really important. I'm really big into, bringing people into your community, making sure that your community, feels heard. That's like the big thing about us is that, my dad is very big into community. Like like he said, he takes care of the people that work for him. He always had. He was big about, the people that you involve yourself with, that, you're always there for them. So I think community is vital to success.
Yeah, I 100% agree. I'm all about a community.
You are.
Heather and Michael, did I leave anything out today? Anything that you want to share, or anything that we might have left out? Do we cover a lot? What do you think?
I feel like we covered a lot.
We did.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, no, it was a pleasure. Thanks for coming on.
Of course.
Thanks
it's a
for having
pleasure.
us, man.
Yeah, definitely. Stay right there. Everybody else, thanks for tuning in. Wherever you are in the world today, enjoy yourselves. Cheers.